Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. We got some new upcoming movie news for another live action Disney remake. Basically, if you guys haven't heard, yesterday it was confirmed by many reliable sources such as Vanity Fair, The Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, that Disney has finally found their new actress to play Tinkerbell for the live action remake of Peter Pan, which is now titled as Peter Pan and Wendy. And they have found the actress to be Yara Shahidi, if I'm pronouncing her last name correctly. Yara Shahidi, if you guys know her, she's best known for her roles as Zoe Johnson in the sitcoms on ABC 7 as from the shows Blackish and also the spin-off series Grownish. So yeah, this is some pretty exciting news. And I guess what makes this news kind of big is the fact that she's playing Tinkerbell, and the actress Yara Shahidi is a woman of color. She has an African American mother and an Iranian father. So she's not a blonde hair and blue eyed white girl as Tinkerbell is depicted to be in the animated feature of Peter Pan. So of course, this has caused some conversations online about the whole race bending issue. Is this, basically, in a sense, is this race bending or is this race washing? That's basically what is the discussion going on social media. But anyway, without further ado, let me just say congratulations to Yara Shahidi for um, nabbing the role of the iconic Disney fairy. I mean, the iconic fairy in all forms of media. I mean, everyone knows Tinkerbell. She's like one of the most iconic fairies out there. It's congrats to her. I mean, this is a character who's usually played by a white woman, but this is the first time that we'll get to see a woman of color portray this character. So congrats to Yara Shahidi for nabbing this role. Now, again, like I said, the conversation is going around is the whole race bending versus race washing topic. And what's interesting about this is that it's been a year basically, back in July of 2019 when Disney announced that Halle Bailey from the R&B duo Chloe and Halle will be playing the iconic mermaid Ariel in the live action remake of The Little Mermaid. Now, it's very interesting to see how Disney is finding actors of color to play these iconic fairy tale characters, so to say. Um, and what's interesting though is that these characters are depicted as white in the cartoon classics. You know, you have Ariel, who's a fair skinned mermaid with blue eyes and bright red hair, and then you have Tinkerbell, who's also a white skinned fairy with blonde hair and blue eyes. So it's very interesting to see that. But now this is where the conversation comes in. The question is, does the ethnicity of these characters really matter? So to say, like, does it really define the character that they are? Who are they really portraying? Um, and it comes down to, this is where we're gonna discuss in this video as to does it matter, does it not? For which characters does it matter? For which characters does it not matter? So yeah, this is a really big topic to discuss, and of course, you guys are free to express yourselves down in the comments below, but do so respectfully. Please respect everybody's ideas and opinions. Now, in regards to Halle Bailey as Ariel from The Little Mermaid and also Yara Shahidi as Tinkerbell in the upcoming Peter Pan and Wendy movie, um, for one, starters, mermaids and fairies are not real. So it doesn't really essentially matter who plays, what ethnicity of the actress plays the character. Heck, if it was a white actress, fine. If it was an Asian actress, fine. A black actress, fine. Mermaids and fairies don't exist. Heck, if they wanted to CGI Ariel and make her, I don't know, skin tone green for all I care to match her green tail, fine, she's a mermaid. If they want to do some CGI effects on Tinkerbell to make her look more like a bright yellowy golden color so she could glow with all that pixie dust, fine. I mean, mermaids and fairies don't exist. So there really is no rule book to that. Um, so essentially any actress could portray that character. It's kind of basically like, say, when the best example I could come up with is like Zoe Saldana as Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy. Gamora is a green-skinned alien. Any actress could play her. Nowhere in the human world that we know of today is there a legit person born with green skin. That's It's just not humanly possible. So any actress could portray an alien. Any actress could portray a mermaid. Any actress could portray a fairy. They're fictional characters. Their ethnicity does not define who the character is, basically. Now, it's funny that, of course, there is conversation going around about Halle Bailey as Ariel and Yara Shahidi as Tinkerbell. But what's interesting is that if you look at the cast that's playing the upcoming characters in the Peter Pan and Wendy movie, you have Jude Law as Captain Hook. Well, he's in talks to play, it's not yet confirmed, but it'd be interesting to see him in the role. You also have Mila Djokovic and if I'm not mistaken, if the director's name, I believe it's Paul Anderson. If I'm not mistaken, you have their daughter Ever Anderson, who's going to play Wendy in the movie. And it's so interesting to see Ever Anderson. To me, she reminds me so much of her mother. I mean, you could just see her mom, like, completely in the facial features. But yes, she'll be playing Wendy. And now, this is the interesting thing. You have newcomer Alexander Molony to play Peter Pan. And the interesting thing is when you see Alexander Molony in comparison to the Disney cartoon of Peter Pan, their facial characteristics do not match at all. And I find it interesting that many people have not like discussed or blown up this topic on social media. They are focused more on Yara Shahidi as Tinkerbell or Halle Bailey as Ariel, more so than Alexander Molony. Like, it hasn't really been that a big of a topic. But if I'm not mistaken, I've heard from several sources. I don't Not really for sure of to what Alexander Molony's ethnicity is. He is born and raised in the UK, but if I'm not mistaken, there were some sources saying that he's has like some New Zealand native heritage, or there's also another source saying that he could have a Middle Eastern background. Not for sure, but it's clear that he is a child actor of color. He's brunette with dark, tan skin, brown tan skin. He's not light skinned like Peter Pan. He's not redhead like Peter Pan. So they also, when you think about it, race bended Peter Pan as well. So they're going in a new direction for this movie. Um, and when you think about it, I think it's cool that they're going in a new direction with all of these live action remakes, to be honest. Some don't work out, Mulan, but I think when they can, this whole idea of ethnicity and race bending and all that stuff. I mean, when you look at Peter Pan, the animated classic, it does hold up on its own pretty well. I mean, it's still popular even to this day. I mean, the movie came out in 1953, which is the year my dad was born, so that says a lot. I mean, this movie still holds up. But when you really look at it in detail, the Peter Pan movie, there are a lot of racial stereotypes, especially against Native Americans. So I think Disney, um, some may argue race bending is not the best idea to solving racial issues. Okay, noted. But you know, it's nice to see something different. Like, okay, they're trying to include different ethnic ethnicities to be involved in this project. So I think that's cool to see. Now, as I mentioned before, the ethnicities regarding, let's say, mermaids, fairies, aliens, it doesn't matter because those are fictional characters. Those types of creatures don't exist in the world that we live in. But when you come into the characters in the Peter Pan movie of such as Tiger Lily and her tribe, clearly they are Native American characters. It is basically stated within that story that they are Native American. So you need to find Native American actors and actresses to portray those roles or to portray those characters. Again, you have Tinkerbell and the mermaids, who are fictional characters, not real. The ethnicity does not make up of the character who they are. But on the other hand, you do have Tiger Lily and her tribe of the Native Americans. Their ethnicity is important to the story because it's clearly obvious that they are Native American. It's clear. They state them in the story as, the Indians or Native Americans, right? It's clear. Their ethnicity is stated. It's out there. But for Tinkerbell, the fairies, even for Ariel and the Little Mermaid, or even the Mermaids of Mermaid Lagoon, it's not stated. Even you could even throw in the fact for the Lost Boys. I have a feeling that the Lost Boys are gonna be racially diverse as well. I have a feeling. I mean, if they made Tinkerbell a woman of color, they're probably gonna get a group of different kids from different ethnic backgrounds to play the Lost Boys, because again, in the movie or even in the well, I'm not gonna go as far as in the book because some could argue, oh, it's written by a British author. Most of the people in the UK, are white. Okay, but nowadays in modern times, you have a booming population of people of other ethnicities and people of color in American countries, in European countries. You do have black people in the UK and other parts of Europe. You do. You have Asians in parts of the UK and other parts of Europe as well, and so on and so forth. You do have that. So I can see them also race bending some of the characters of the Lost Boys. But in regards to Tiger Lily and her tribe, they are stated that they are Native American. So it'd be interesting for Disney to find, a Native American actress, and also find you know, some amazing Native American actors to portray those roles and to avoid stereotypes. It'd be cool if they were, badass on their own. I would really love to see that. So it'd be really cool to see different ethnicities being part of this movie and also being represented well without stereotypes. So yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. I mean, it would be cool to see, Wendy, who's played by Ever Anderson, a white girl, a Caucasian girl, to be cool on her own terms, to have a cool Tinkerbell who's played by a black girl. That'd be cool to see. You get to see that black girl magic going on, and also be cool to see a Native American princess, Tiger Lily, kick some butt. I mean, it'd be cool to see those different ethnic backgrounds come together and make an awesome movie. I think that would be really interesting to see. Um, and now, in regards to this, like I said, Disney is, diversifying their characters and their movies. Um, so it all started, of course, as we know. Well, I mean, I'm not even gonna say it started with Halle Bailey as Ariel. You could probably even argue it goes way back to when Brandy Norwood was casted as Cinderella back in 1997 in an all multicultural cast. Um, that I mean, it's interesting because that movie, I love that movie. I adore that movie. It's really awesome. It still even holds up to this day with its cultural significance because of the whole multicultural cast. And to see that back then in the 90s and to also kind of, you know, encourage directors and members of Disney and other studios as well, non-Disney studios, to do color blinding casting if, of course, the character's ethnicity does not matter. If it doesn't matter, it's cool to see that. Um, so, now you have Halle Bailey as Ariel, and now you have Yara Shahidi as Tinkerbell, and now you have Alexander Molony as Peter Pan. So it's cool to see that. Now, there are rumors, there are talks of upcoming live action Disney characters that are also going to be race bended. It's not confirmed, We don't know for sure, but there have been fan casting and ideas thrown out there. There's rumors of the upcoming Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs live action remake that they're looking at Asian actresses to portray the titular character Princess Snow White. Names such as Lana Condor, as you know her from To All the Boys. Her name has been tossed around a lot. I've seen her picture floating around in like fan casts and dream casts to play Snow White. And again, some may argue, well, Snow White is a German fairy tale. Um, does her now in this case does her ethnicity matter? I mean, you know, in this case, I wouldn't say I'm sure on that, but it would be cool to see, in my opinion, because there are, like I said before, there are, you know, Asian immigrants in many parts of Europe. So I think it would be cool to see an Asian actress portray that character of Snow White. There's also rumors that a man of color, particularly a black actor, might portray the titular role of Hercules. There's names such as Michael B. Jordan being tossed around. It's not confirmed. It's just a fan casting that someone brought up online. But I think it'd be cool to see a man of color play Hercules. I just think it'd be cool. And that's, of course, there's that argument, the Greek mythology should be played by Greek actors, which I do completely agree. I would like to see a Mediterranean actor portray, or Mediterranean actors portray those lead roles. But remember, Greece is in the Mediterranean and it is like right next door to Africa, and there are black people in Greece. So who's to say that they won't find an Afro Greek to play Hercules? I mean, that could happen. Like I said, it's right in the Mediterranean Sea. Greece, Italy, they're all right next door to Africa. So it could happen. You never know. So yeah, that has been being tossed around a lot. So again, it's interesting to see Disney being bold with these choices. Basically, who would have thought? Who would have thought that something like this would happen? Because to be honest, I'm gonna be honest with you right now. Obviously, with Peter Pan, it was made in the 1950s, where there was a lot of racial segregation. To have the main lead or iconic characters be people of color would have been unheard of. It wouldn't have happened. Of course, if they were in the movie, they would have faced stereotypes, kind of like what Tiger Lily and her tribe members face, were a lot of racial stereotypes. Even fast forward to The Little Mermaid, which came out in 1989. Now racial segregation's over, blah blah blah. But still, there's most of the characters are all white leads. So even to have, a person of color in a lead role would have been unheard of. You didn't get a black Disney princess until 2009 with The Princess and the Frog, and you didn't even get an all people of color lead, main leads until, some may argue with the Jungle Book, with Mowgli being the first non-white character in a Disney animated feature to be the lead, or you could even argue it being Aladdin, where all the characters are non-white, they're Middle Eastern. So, you could see it took a while. It took a while for them to get there. So now to see it happen in, the 21st century, this is it's something else. It's interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. Whether you guys like it or not, it is pretty interesting to see Disney take those bold steps. Let's just hope they do it right. We just want to hope they do it right. People may have different opinions on how they view these live action remakes. Some of them are pretty good. Like I stated before in my other videos, I really liked The Jungle Book. I really liked Cinderella. I really liked Aladdin. I thought those live action remakes were really done well. They were in the middle. They didn't do a shot by shot remake like The Lion King, where you already know what happens and it's nothing new and exciting. It's just a copycat, and it wasn't too different where they just changed the whole thing and messed it up like Mulan. They tried to stay in the middle. It's a story you know and love, but with extra layers, but layers done right. So let's hope these upcoming live action remakes know what they're doing. And yeah, just make it right. Make a good live action remake like they did with the Jungle Book, Cinderella, and Aladdin. Some people didn't like Aladdin that much, but I actually liked it. I think it did better than, say, Lion King and Mulan. And then here's the thing in regards to Mulan. Someone actually brought it up on their YouTube channel. Um, they said that with Mulan, you do have an actress um, who, she is from the same ethnic background as Mulan, Chinese and whatnot. But the thing is, the actress, me personally, if you guys check out my review, I didn't think the actress for Mulan wasn't that great. I think they could have found another Chinese actress or even a Chinese American actress. I think that's what they should have done. I mean, the thing is, I mean, obviously for Mulan, you do need someone who's of Chinese background because the theme of Mulan centers on, Chinese traditions and the Chinese culture. So it's stated in there that she is Chinese, that's a given. She has to have a Chinese background. So you need someone who is Chinese to play the character. Um, but the thing is, what's also important is not just what they look like, it's also if they bring that spirit, that personality to the character. And I feel like Louis J, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, did not bring that to the character, unfortunately. Um, so hopefully, like I said, it's in regards to, like, say, Tiger Lily, for example. Yes, she is Native American. She has to be played by a Native American actress because it is stated in the story that she is Native American. But I also want her to bring that spirit, bring that personality to the character. And for the other characters in the upcoming Disney movies that, their ethnicity does not matter, they are fictional fairy tale creatures that do not exist, such as the mermaids and the fairies. The important thing that I believe and hoping that the directors were looking at was that if the actors and the actresses brought that personality and spirit to the character. That's also what's important. So if they could, make us believe that they were right for the role. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up and share my thoughts with you guys about this, about the whole, you know, of course there's always going to be an argument. It will never end, about race bending versus race washing. So again, if you guys want to talk about it in the comments below, feel free to, but please do so respectfully. Um, don't get too heated with each other. Just be respectful with everybody's decisions and opinions. Again, I am looking forward to seeing Halle Bailey as Ariel in The Little Mermaid. I think she is perfect for the role. Again, I don't think her ethnicity matters. Like I said, mermaids are not real. I am looking forward to Yara Shahidi as Tinkerbell. I'm looking forward to Alexander Molony as Peter Pan. I think it'll be interesting to see actors of color portray these characters. And I am curious to see if they will race bend Snow White or if they will race bend Hercules. I think that will be an interesting concept to the story. But of course, in some regards, like I said, there are some characters that their ethnicity does matter, as in the sense of like Tiger Lily, or as I talked about before, Mulan. Tiger Lily does have to be played by a Native American actress. Mulan did have to be played by a Chinese actress. I just think they could have found another Chinese actress, a better one, but you know, the whole Chinese culture is important to that story. Or even in regards to the upcoming Hunchback of Notre Dame movie, I think it would be cool if they do find an actress of color to play Esmeralda, someone who is of Romani descent, or I know that the Romanis immigrated from India, so it'd be cool to see that kind of background in the character. So in those instances, it does matter. So I just hope the directors, make the right decision, and most importantly, also find the actor or actress that could bring that breath of fresh air and spirit and personality to those roles. Anyway, guys, like I said, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about my thoughts on this. Do so respectfully and respect everybody else's comments. Like and subscribe, and as always, take care, guys. Bye.